This segment is sponsored by AJ Fernandez Cigars. The San Latano line of cigars from AJ Fernandez has been one of the most talked about cigars in recent years, and now they offer a groundbreaking line extension, the San Latano the Bull. The San Latano Bull features an extensively aged and hardy core of Nicaraguan long fillers, are nestled beneath an attractive Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Housed in a cedar sleeve which depicts the outline of a bull only solidifies this as a full-flavored cigar. Removing the sleeve reveals a box-pressed cigar with a beautiful, oily, and smooth chocolate brown wrapper. The San Latano Bull burns nice and neat as it issues columns of smoke while it hits you with a wall of spice, followed by leather and cedar. This densely packed cigar intensifies deep, rich flavors and becomes a flavor bomb halfway through and only gets better with each passing draw. Strong yet smooth and perfectly balanced, AJ Fernandez, who many have called a tobacco prodigy, has somehow pushed the already spectacular San Latano line of cigars forward with the Bull. AJ Fernandez challenges you to take on the Bull. Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. This is Paul Asadorian and Will Cooper here in the Stogie Geek Studios in Rhode Island. We've got Logan from the Cigar Chat and Cigar Federation podcast on with us. Logan, welcome.
What's happening, fellas?
What's going on? It's nice to have you on the show. It's awesome to actually have you on the show so we can converse. I listen to your show mostly while I'm traveling, so I'm usually on an airplane while I'm hearing you in my ear, and I'm usually laughing, and people are kind of looking at me like, why is that guy laughing to himself?
Yeah, it's the same thing, too, because he's on before us, so I never get to really hear
to listen, except when I'm, like, traveling and stuff.
So it really is good, yeah.
So what have you been smoking lately, Logan, that's been impressing you?
You know, I don't know, man. I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer that comes on the show. This knocks everything off, but I haven't really reviewed anything in the last couple of weeks because I've been traveling for work and things like that. But, I'd be curious to hear you guys' opinions. But, last year, when it, kind of came to a lot of the top cigars that came out, like this year, and I'm not talking about just cigars in general, but a lot of the new releases, I haven't really found anything. There's been a few things, but compared to last year, I've been struggling to find things that just, like, completely blow me away. And, and I've tried a lot of stuff. One thing a cigar that completely blew my mind, I'm smoking right now, that I actually thought was going to be complete trash, which actually has ended up being awesome, was a Cohiba Nicaragua.
It really was a good cigar.
It's awesome.
From General, it really was.
I know.
So a general brand of Cohiba cigar, and they're using Nicaraguan wrapper binder filler?
No, but they're making it in Nicaragua, but it's actually mostly Nicaraguan with a Honduran wrapper.
Okay.
But it was a really nice surprise. It was.
Interesting. I have not smoked that yet.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. The only thing it's a little bit of a drawback is the price point. And Coop, you'll probably be able to rattle it off, but I think it's $9 to $10. So considering, other Cohibas you can get on sites and they're fairly inexpensive, for a $10 cigar, there's other things I'd rather smoke, but for a Cohiba general-made cigar, it's blown me away.
Let me tell you something. I mentioned this on the show a few weeks ago. So if you remember, Cohiba also had that luxury selection, which was their $40 offering, and it was really, if you were in the booth and you saw the packaging of it, it was beautiful. And
Will hated it.
$40. It was bad.
And you don't for Will to say a cigar is bad, or
that's tough.
Like really, really good. Like Will holds back on his Oasis rating, and Will hold back on his lowest level ratings.
Yeah, and I didn't call it lawn mulch.
No, you didn't.
But it was Angler, which was pretty much. And I don't give a lot of Anglers out.
I don't think you.
I was so disappointed. I wanted to like that cigar because I liked what Cohiba is doing. I liked the Comador. I liked the Nicaragua. That one, Mike Giannini in general, I'm sorry. He missed with that one for $40 cigar. It should have wowed me.
Logan, what do you like to smoke on the high end of the price tag? Will just had a Davidoff Royal Salomon, which is like $50.
That I didn't pay for it. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. I think I smoke a lot of cigars. I work from home, so I consume probably 2 to 3 cigars a day on average, right? And, I've never been, like, if I'm going to go something, I'm like, hey, I need like a a celebratory cigar,
Yeah.
or I need something like that, then, I'll gravitate, and this is probably very cliche, but, I'll do a Padron 26, a
Yep.
Padron 64. I mean, I'll go for that.
Can't go wrong.
I don't smoke a lot of Cubans, but, I get some sent to me from friends and trades, and I recently smoked original Cohiba Bejique from was it 2010 or 2009, whenever it released. Totally blew my mind. Love the cigar, and I'll reach for that kind of stuff. But really, I'm a big guy on, when I do my reviews and when I look at stuff, if I got a $20 cigar that blows my mind, it 90% blew my mind, and then I've got a $7 cigar that's 80% blew my mind, I'd rather smoke that $8 cigar because I'm getting a lot more bang for my buck. At least that's the way I look at it. But
Yeah, I've been impressed by a lot of the lower price cigars that have come out on the market this year. I think
We just talked about the AJ Fernandez one, which was a really good.
AJ Fernandez New World. To dip outside of our sponsors, the Tatuaje Tattoo
Really
was
good.
awesome.
Yep, Beluzione, Rothschild.
The Rothschild.
dude,
Yeah,
the 1502 Nicaragua is very good too.
absolutely.
If you smoke that.
You
Have
like
I
that
smoked
cigar?
that? No, I think I smoked the Connecticut.
The white
did.
label. The white
The
label.
white label. I smoked the white label.
Logan, you like that cigar?
Surprisingly,
I
you would
would-
not believe it,
Yeah.
but I did.
I mean, it's a good cigar. I know you're more of a fuller, more powerful cigar smoker, and that's probably the mildest offering.
I would say it's a click above. It's definitely not as strong as a ruby. It's definitely not as strong as a black gold. But I think it's a click above the emerald. And that's the thing I've been trying, to expand my wheelhouse a little bit. I don't normally gravitate. I know a cigar coupe that you just absolutely love was the Casa Fernandez 35th, and then the newest one this year. And I've been trying to kind of get into more of that. And for that, even though it is a little bit milder in strength, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I like the classic Nicaraguan profile, but yeah, I did like it. I mean, for $6, I don't know. I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, and I think right now, what Enrique really of the House of Emilio brands right now, he is looking very strong right now with his line.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting at IPCPR this year to kind of see kind of the House Emilio evolution over the last, say, 2 years, and it's very I think out of the ones that are kind of coming strong I think that Enrique's doing a great job. I think Nomad's doing a great job. And then kind of Ezra Zion, and there's definitely some gems in there, but I think Enrique is definitely a standout.
Yeah, I mean, he's just he's hitting. We could take the cigar geek out of us for a second. He's hitting the market with his cigars, and I see retailers. Every retailer is bringing that in, is reordering that cigar. So it's obviously he's hitting a point. Whether it's our favorite cigar or not, I think they're good cigars, but he's hitting something because that cigar is doing well at stores I would have never anticipated it would do well.
Logan, we had Phil Zanke on earlier, who's actually in Texas, and he was describing the shops in Texas, and he was just glowing with reviews. He's like, these shops are big because everything's bigger in Texas.
Right, it's
They have
true.
a bigger selection of all the cigars than any of the shops that I've been in. Can you describe some of your local shops? In what area of Texas you're in and some of the
So I live in
local shops?
Austin. So I live in
Okay.
Austin, which is kind of, I guess it's central Austin. And, there's some good shops here. I mean, I think that depending on where Phil's went, I mean, there's a lot of great shops in Houston and Dallas. And I mean,
he was
I
in
think,
Houston and San Antonio.
So Houston, San Antonio. Okay. So, I mean, every town, I mean, first of all, Texas is really big, right? I mean, we have Houston, we have Dallas, San Antonio. I mean, even Austin's 1.5 million people, right? So they're fairly big markets just to begin with. And, around in Austin, kind of my two favorite shops is there's Havana House, which is actually downtown Austin. Not a huge lounge, but a very, very good selection humidor. I really like Heroes and Legacy. That's more central Austin. Has a really nice, I believe it's a Diamond Crown Lounge. It's very, very nice. And then locally, just right across from where I work, they have Pipe World. Very small, very family, but humidor is okay. They're becoming a little more boutique, but it's a great place where you can just go meet people that I work with and stuff like that. But, I think a lot of the lounges in Texas are probably a little bit bigger because, one, rent down here is like super cheap. I recently had a conversation. Just the property is cheap. I was talking to one of my friends who bought a house in New Jersey, and he was telling me like square footage and all that he bought. And I was like, dude, my house is like twice the size. I have a pool, and you paid 3 times more than I did. That's absolutely absurd. So I think retail space is one, but two, I think a lot of it's just tobacco tax because tobacco tax down here is just super, super, super cheap. It's like, I think 7 cents a cigar. So it's like nothing, you know?
That's awesome. That's great.
That's it.
So what's been going on with the show? What are some of the guests that you've had on the show? I really liked your interview with Jonathan Drew. Sticks out in my mind.
That was the longest run-on sentence I ever heard on it.
You asked him
man.
one question, and then 45 minutes later, you were like, "Oh, wow, where were we again?"
I know. Well, and Rob and I have obviously wanted to have a few people on the show that we've never been able to wrangle down, and I'll call them out right now. One of them is Pete Johnson. One of them is Matt Booth, and the other one is obviously Jonathan. And the stars kind of aligned, being our 100th episode to get Jonathan on. And, Rob and I, it's actually funny because Rob and I were actually talking before the show, and we're like, hey, how many actual questions are we going to get to through this show? And I think it was actually 3. But 3 questions. But, I mean, Jonathan's a great guy. I mean, I love what he's doing at Drew Estate. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of cool because we're the last interview he's done before they announced that they were being bought by Swisher. So I think it was a good time. I wasn't expecting him to kind of answer the question about, being purchased. And he didn't really answer. He kind of danced around a little bit, but I mean, it was a really good episode. And he's one of those guys that if I could just sit down and just talk to for 8 hours, I would just listen to, and the 8 hours would just go by like that.
No, I agree.
No, I mean, he told there was a lot of in that long answer. I forget what the question Rob asked. But he gave a lot of information. It was something he wanted to know, something that maybe no one knew about Jonathan Drew.
It was the photo books, but it was like this complete 360 that was 35 minutes long.
Oh,
dude, nuts. But it was good. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, exactly.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I never realized he was such a fan of rap music.
Yeah, I mean, the whole kind of Brooklyn and Bronx influence, I think he's really big. I mean, if you've ever been down to Cigar Safari or you've been around, to IPCPR, that's all they play is Wu-Tang and all that stuff that I don't listen to. So I feel like a fish out of water, but hey.
I'm a huge fan of that genre. I mean, I grew up in the mid-'90s, and that music was immensely popular. So I was really kind of relating to their whole rap music thing. So I can't wait to have him on the show.
Yeah, Jonathan, if you're listening, you're wanted.
Call to talk about rap music. Yeah. I mean, cigars, okay, we'll talk about
Jonathan,
some cigars.
I'm calling you out right now. But, it was interesting on that interview, and I'm not a rap, I'm a classic Tony Soprano rock guy. But what he talked about the 5 boroughs of New York, and growing up in New York, and
That's what you grew up in?
Yeah, and I've lived in several boroughs, and how he talked about the different rap segments and how they related to boroughs, he was spot on. Mm-hmm. He was absolutely spot on.
That's really cool.
It was a good interview. I'm really glad and, just very gracious that he would come on and spend, an hour and a half with us. But, just with the show in general, we just hit our 100th episode with Jonathan, which was about a little over a month, like a month and a half, like a month ago, actually. And then, but since IPCPR, Rob and I, we haven't taken a different direction, but we've been trying to bring on people that we've never had on the show before. So it's been a slew of, Maya Selva, Warped, Jay Fuego, CLE, like companies we've never had on before. Not because we haven't had a chance, we just haven't really gotten to know those companies or had a relationship with them. So since since IPCPR, it's been a lot of companies that we've never had on before, which has been very good.
It's a great place to be, right? Yeah. Except when you get to, like I am with my other podcast, Insecurity, on episode 400, and we're like, who haven't we had on the show? Like,
exactly.
Shit. And it gets to be a really short list, and they're sometimes really hard people to get on, right?
Yeah, and we try to spread them out, too. Obviously, we want to give our sponsors some precedence, but, it's hard to remember who's been on what. And sometimes we've had someone on multiple times, and then others, we haven't had this person on either at all or not for a while. So it's kind of a tough balancing act we've had to do with that.
Oh, yeah. And you guys are what? This is episode what? I know it's 3-year anniversary. 118?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 118.
Got it.
So we're not that far ahead of you in terms of production.
Well, and the good thing with cigars is that there's always a new company. There's always a new cigar. So,
as you know, we're always trying to find that next one.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Now, Logan, how's your store doing? You guys have really done some great things with your store. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but I placed an order with your store. You guys had EP Carrillo Limitada 2010s in your store. And I got the email, and I was like, add to cart. I couldn't add it to my cart fast enough. It was awesome.
Yeah, so in those, I think a lot of people know this, but kind of the way what's happened is, so take a step back. So right before IPCPR, at that point, kind of Chris Kelly and Kyle Hoover of Ezra Zion owned Cigar Federation and all that. Rob and I were involved. They came to us like 2 years ago and said, hey, we want to help retake this thing over. We don't know what we're doing. And we kind of built Cigar Federation to where it was. And then right before IPCPR, they approached me to say, hey, do you want to buy this? We don't really want it anymore. So we worked out a deal where now I own Cigar Federation. So the store is still definitely a part of Cigar Federation. Our members still get a discount. We still bring in all types of products and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But my involvement with the store is back down. All of that's really moved up to Delaware Cigar, and it's managed out of there because it's just a much more seamless experience and so on and so forth. But yeah, they do got some great cigars, man. Like I saw the other day, they did some Viaje zombies, and all types of crazy stuff. It's because Gary Griffith is a freak when it comes to buying stuff. He's like, oh, what? I'm going to buy 19 jars of the Viaje double-edged sword ceramic jars because I want to. And then he sells like half of them, and then they say, hey, can you guys get rid of them? And we say, okay.
Have you been to his store? Have you been in that store?
No, I've heard about People's Plaza. I heard it's like the Mecca.
Oh, my goodness. Cigars. It's like, I need to get Paul in there.
Is it Delaware?
Delaware Cigars in Newark, Delaware, the People's Plaza one. It's like he is the pack rat of limiteds. I mean, you will find stuff in there.
That could be an expensive trip.
I don't think I'm going to be able to stop on the way back, but if I can, I'm going to do it because I'm driving back from I'm driving down North Carolina from here. I end up dumping money every time I'm in there.
You have to take the Stogie Geeks credit card. If we had a Stogie Geeks credit card, I would give you the
Stogie Geeks. We have to go some instant credit right now.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's where a lot of the stuff from the store comes from is that, they just got so much stuff there, and there's just, unfortunately, the way the industry rolls, there's always the next and the newest, right? And you kind of have to buy that to stay relevant. So not everything gets sold. So those EP Carrillo Limitada 2010s, I actually bought some as well because freak, man.
Yeah.
That's a great cigar. Who has that? Who can even sell that anymore? You know
Seth
what I mean?
Seth is giving one away with his 10-pack, actually, too, for listeners to check out his site for the Stogie Geeks giveaway.
Amazing cigar.
That's an Oasis level rated cigar here in Stogie Geeks.
Oh, my God. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing. I mean, now that we're talking about EP Carrillo, I mean, this is a good question. Like, I think, EP Carrillo makes some great cigars, Like, I loved all the additional limitadas, 2000. I thought 2011 was great, 2012. But recently, since 13, East Stunner and some other stuff, I've seen it went down. But, what do you guys think about, EP Carrillo? Are they kind of on a down swoop coming back up? What's your opinion on their overall brand right now?
I think, personally, what they're doing now is fantastic. I smoked the La Historia. I really, really liked it. I smoked the 2014, the $8.
That was the 5th anniversary.
5th anniversary.
Which I think you'd like, Logan.
I think that was really good. I thought that used a little age, but I thought it was good. The La Historia, I dry boxed for a couple days, and I had a much more positive experience than I think some did because the reviews were kind of all over the map on that cigar. So I really liked it. I think the East Stunner kind of came around. It
took a long time to come around.
Yeah. But his regular lines, I mean, let's not ignore the Cardinal. With that Sumatra
New Wave
wrapper
Connecticut.
And the New Wave Connecticut.
But here's what's happening right now, and I think this is why I'm looking at EP Carrillo. Ernesto must have came into some Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper. He's got this wrapper. He just put it on the new Inch. He's put it on that Federal Cigar one. Mm-hmm.
I haven't smoked the new one. You gave it to me. I haven't smoked the new one.
Yeah, and now he's put it on this new cigar called the Cabinet, which is it's out in Europe that you have. Derek gave it to us, and it's going to be coming to the U.S. So I think this Corojo that he's starting to play with, this Ecuadorian Corojo, is going to give him a shot in the arm, which I think Ernesto might have had a little bit of writer's or blender's block. That's the Cabinet.
Got it.
Yeah. So the ultimate question is, Logan, how good the blends are going to be, I think, is going to remain to be seen on that.
Okay.
But you guys, interesting, at the trade show, and we haven't really talked since the trade show. You guys at Cigar Federation, let me tell you, you guys went into that trade show, and you, more than anyone I ever saw in the cigar media, you guys were hustling. But more than anything, you guys captured the pulse of that show through your videos, like no one else has ever done before. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I think what you guys, that was like a Herculean effort. I know what it's like to cover that trade show. And You guys really need to take a bow on that. That was a great job.
Well, thanks, dude. I don't know if I'd give us that much credit, but I mean, we only go, the trade shows once a year, right? And it's one of those things where, past years there's been, issues, and we don't want to get into all of that. But, I told everyone, all of our mods that went before, and we had kind of two groups, right? We had, Rob, myself, and Serge, and then Dustin and Jared. So we had two groups. I really said, coming in this show, biggest thing is I want you to be respectful, and I want you to come out, and if anyone has anything to say about Cigar Federation, I'd rather you not hit a booth and piss someone off than piss someone off and, cause a bad reputation for SigFed. And we kind of set a goal to say, hey, we want to do 60 interviews with 60 different booths, right? And everyone told us that can we cuss? We're fucking nuts. I'm cussing. I don't care.
That's fine.
We were freaking nuts. And or I'm not. Okay, I won't.
No,
they were freaking nuts. Well, anyways, at the end of the day, I think we ended up doing 89 videos. And really, I mean, it was just a little bit of planning going in, and a lot of people that will go to the booths will sit there for hours and hours. I mean, it was a quick in and out 2-minute video. We got it up quick before the trade show was over so people could actually watch it. So yeah, man, I mean, it was really, really, really good trade show. I mean, it was a little more spread out, so it took a little more walking. So got my little ticker going, but it was good, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a really good trade show.
No, I thought it was a great trade. I heard people saying they're limiting us. I thought we had more access than ever this year, and there was more content produced than ever this year. So I think I thought it was a great trade show for media, and I think the quality of the product, everyone that produced some really, except for me, my product sucked that I did out of there, but I mean, it was some really good content. But like I said, you guys captured that vibe. I mean, I remember how you guys gelled with Andre Farkas. Okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of related to that because that was kind of how I was a little intimidated going to talk to Andre at first. He's a little bit of this recluse, and I found him to be real loose. And I kind of saw when you guys, with that video, and we've had Andre on the show as well as you have, but you kind of got Andre, you saw that side of Andre that a lot of people don't see in the industry before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing is I think we're pretty approachable, but at the end of the day, right? I mean, we love cigars. We want to have fun, and with that video, it was actually really funny because, I mean, we went up and just, he's like, just let it roll. Let's just chat. Let's just talk. And it's really, for me, it was kind of an eye-opener because you're right. Like, you don't really see Andre on social media other than Facebook a little bit. He's been on your show and ours, but he hasn't done a lot of stuff. He just kind of does his thing and just whatever. And to see that side of him was super, super, super cool.
Yeah, and it was interesting when you guys interviewed him, how he talked about how, he felt he got burned a little by social media early on, but how he also realized, maybe he prejudged it early on. Right. And, just kind of little things. I've seen him go out to Federation, give you guys some nuggets, just a little more interaction. So I think we're starting to see a side of Andre. Like I said, once you get to know Andre, the guy is an awesome. I mean, when you heard him in a social setting, he's a great guy, actually. Very different than I ever imagined.
Absolutely. And I thought he was a young guy. I thought he was like maybe upper 20s. And I mean, I don't know his exact age, but he was like, yeah, I have a family. I have kids. I would have never guessed. Never would have guessed.
Me neither. I mean, I remember when he talked with us, it was the same thing. I knew he had a wife. I didn't know he had 2 small kids, actually. I think he has 2 boys.
Yeah.
Did you guys interview Matt Booth as well?
I did. And oh, man.
Isn't that like the wildest ride you've ever been on in terms of an interview?
Well, it was and I have to tell you the backstory before the interview because it was either the last day or it was the second to last day. And, if you've ever been in the trade show, like the way the booth he's part of, and the whole Davidoff setup or whatever, but he's got this kind of little nook in this corner. Yeah. And we said, hey, want to do an interview? He's like, well, you got to go run and do something really quick. When we came back, there was a retailer there, and Matt, and it was just hilarious. Matt was just accosting this dude. It was hilarious. Just saying, hey man, just wait a minute, let him do this video. Just calm down. And for the whole time I was laughing because this guy was just giving Matt so much hell, and he was giving him so much hell back. But he's all over the map. But I love Matt. He's awesome, really good guy. And it's cool to see because, he doesn't need social media to sell cigars, you know what I mean? And just for him to take the time was really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy, actually one of the early guys who reached out to me. I had reviewed a cigar back when he had the Conjurer, which I actually liked, and people were saying it sucked, and he was like real grateful that I said that. Was the interview you had with him? Was that when you were sitting in his throne? He had that throne there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
Oh
that's
yeah.
very
We were
fitting.
sitting. I was in his throne, and he was right next to me, and we talked. I think it was a 2-3 minute interview about the big payback. But yeah, no, Matt's a super cool guy, and that's one of my unicorns. I have not been able to get on Cigar Chat. So Matt Booth, I'm calling you out.
There you go.
Yeah, Matt, I've been
whenever you
calling
want
to
it.
get him back on as well. So we need to. We'll have to wait in line on that one, you guys. But yeah, that was. I agree. He was. Just that. I can't wait to see you guys interview him. That's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be a trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be a trip because I can get weird too, just like him. And Rob's a very calm individual, and it's going to be awesome just to make Rob feel completely awkward the entire show.
Well, it was funny because I was telling Paul to expect the unexpected with that interview, and we had a script.
Yeah,
and,
dude, nothing you could have told me could have prepared me for that interview. I'm sorry.
And there was a point in that thing where Paul just chucked the script and let it go. I mean,
Dude, I've interviewed hundreds of people on various podcasts and been an interviewee on various podcasts, and that was by far the most interesting, entertaining interview that I've ever done in my entire life.
yeah, and it was our first show we did on Cigar Federation, which was kind of funny.
It was.
too.
It was.
That's
I remember I
hilarious.
was in Nashville actually for work. Yeah, I remember that. Matt was all over the damn place. Oh, dude. But so what's up with you guys? Let me ask you. So what's
Sure.
up with Stogie Geek, Cigar Coop? What's the latest with you guys?
We're we're plugging away. Of course, as we said, there's people we want to interview, but we're hosting a blending seminar.
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna
coming up.
have a virtual blending seminar where a little different than Jose Blanco's in that you're gonna be smoking Puritos, and of the Preferido blend from La Aurora, and Manuel Anoa is gonna be coming there, and so it's
That's cool.
So it's kind of gonna be interactive. You're gonna be able to do it at Havana Cigar Club. We're gonna be talking about it in the next segment.
Okay.
But in general, it's gonna be we're gonna carry the live feed on Stogie Geeks. So we're pretty excited about that,
And we do.
Where can you purchase the cigars? Will it be
We send
the
them to
Havana?
you. Yeah, if you register
Okay.
online for the blending seminar, stogiegeeks.com/blending.
Yep.
You get all the cigars. You get 4 Puritos and 2 cigars, and then you get an option to purchase La Aurora Preferidos in a Corona size, and you can mix and match a 10-pack.
Got it. That's
So,
cool.
yeah,
I've been
that's
wanting to do that for a long time, trying to nail down Jose Blanco's, like trying to, hit a butterfly in the butt. Like it's
Yep.
just impossible.
He's a busy guy to get a hold
You're a
of.
busy fella.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he
the
is.
The other thing too is we're running a lot of different segments on the show. Like we did one on vape, we did one on pipes,
Coffee.
we did one on coffee, we did one on quite a few on drink pairings. So we have like a full bar that's like right over there in the studio.
Yeah.
Tiki bar.
It's a tiki bar, and we mix all kinds of bizarre drinks and pair them with cigars. So we're trying to branch out a little bit to kind of mix things up with those different kinds of segments.
cool.
So I don't know if you
That's
got
cool.
into the vape thing. Is really just a fascinating thing for me. I just bought another one. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I was here when it came yesterday. He was like a kid in a candy store.
I know. I was all excited.
Oh,
It doesn't
that
work.
might be-
I have to figure it out.
Paul syndrome strikes
Paul
the
syndrome.
babes again.
Thing is.
No, but I mean, I think
And it's really cool. We had all 3 local shops here in Rhode Island. Well, we had 2 out of the 3 so far. Todd will be here later in a little while. Maybe even the next segment, I think.
Next segment he's
on. Todd will be on. So 3 of the shops that are closest to us geographically all came on the show today or will come on the show today, which is really cool. And they all have an interesting story. As our listeners know, Paul Joyle has been a supporter of the show since day one. As everyone knows, we're right next door to the Havana Cigar Club.
So you
Which a
couldn't-
lot of people get all these shops mixed up, so
Yeah.
it's good to set the record straight. We're right next door. And then the shop that we've mentioned on the show before that people didn't really have any insight to was the Humidor.
Yep.
They started their store in like 1965, I
Right.
think Jana said. So it's been a family-owned business since 1965. So there's a whole lot of history there, and there's a lot of cool stuff. Their pipe tobacco, I didn't even realize their history on their pipe
No, that
tobacco.
was- I
they
mean,
do
we
in
had
that
a-
store.
yeah, I
They
was-
blend their own pipe tobacco now. What
Oh,
did she
right.
say? She blends of their top seller 25 to 30 pounds a week.
yeah, but this ain't
of
like
pipe
this ain't
tobacco.
just like throwing pipe tobacco into a bowl and
Yeah,
they're
like they actually blend it, and she's like, it's top secret how we blend it, and it's been their
That's
number
cool.
one seller for the past 25 years. And I've smoked it in both my pipe, and I have a a vaporizer for pipe tobacco, which most people
really?
actually use for marijuana, I found out.
Yep.
But I use it for pipe tobacco. And it goes well in both. So we've been kind of mixing it up a little bit. I've been exploring all those different ways to smoke. Although, having explored all those different ways, I've probably done maybe 15 different kinds of vape liquid in 2 or 3 different vapes, another pipe thing. I have the Drew Estate pipe. After doing all of that and trying, half a dozen different pipe tobacco, dude, I still come back to a cigar.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing we're trying to take. And nothing replaces a cigar. All those other things are cool and all, but cigars are where it's at.
Yeah, and right now I think with the studio and in Havana Cigar Club, I really got to thank them because they do a lot of events. They bring in every industry personality, and they have for every event they've had on Thursday night, they have made that person available for the studio for a half-hour segment. So we've been able to we had Glenn Case in the studio.
Dude, and Glenn Case is like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily understand that to that level when we did the Skype interview, but meeting him in person, just
and I had met him in person, so I kind of knew it. But, again, the studio experience, we've had Grace Sotolongo in the studio. Mm-hmm. We had Nesta Miranda for our 100th show in the studio. So it's added a different dimension on this. And then, just on the cigar coupe end, we've really been fortunate. We've really been focusing a lot on cigar news.
We've scooped a lot of stories.
We've scooped a lot of stories. It's a very hard thing. Anyone wants to try to get into cigar news. You just can't.
I don't even try.
You just can't do it. It takes.
That's where before we had coop, that's where I was. I'm like, I'm not even trying.
But and you feel like sometimes, and you, Logan, you probably say you feel like you're pulling on a rope sometimes. But really, what it comes down to is, I tell anyone, you got to be around, and you just got to build a trust level.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's like any industry, 100%. But definitely
100%.
Yep.
Well, speaking of breaking news, and I'm not going to reveal everything, but next week there's going to be some really, really cool news come out about Cigar Federation. Just check it out. Check out Cigar Federation on Monday. There'll be some really good stuff and even more stuff coming on Tuesday.
Wow.
Awesome.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Now, you guys are, along the lines of news, you guys are doing a trip to Nicaragua?
We are. When I went down on the media trip for Cigar Safari this year and, built a good relationship with Sam and some of the guys at Drew Estate and, had the opportunity, I kind of put the bug in their ear. I didn't know if it was going to happen this year or not, but we spent about 2 hours actually one-on-one with Jonathan and Sam and a few guys at Drew Estate during IPCPR, which was awesome. Well, during that time, he was like, hey, do we want to work out a trip? We'd love to be able to work that out. And they were at that point, we're actually already filled up. So I didn't even know that they would make it. But they actually kind of they added an extra trip. And so we emailed it about this week. We've got most of the spots filled up. But if you just go to, cigarfederation.com, at the top, you'll see a little tab, Cigar Safari. Click on that. Just read did somebody just walk in front of the camera?
Yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay, because I looked up and I was like, what's going on? You saw someone's
ass? Yeah.
We've been getting...
Okay.
That's a bonus for you.
That's a bonus. They had my ass shot earlier, so...
Yeah. You missed it.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not, hallucinating or whatever. But so, go there, look. If you're interested, sign up. Most of the spots are getting fairly filled up. But, so we're going to be going down, have a Cigar Federation Cigar Safari trip. It'll be, I think it's May 13th to the 16th. So... super, super, super excited.
Yeah, and we may actually have something with Stogie Geeks in another part of Nicaragua we're working on. We'll stay tuned. That's a teaser for listeners.
Oh, teasers.
Yep.
Dude, I love dropping teasers, man.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing. But yeah.
But that I tell you, we were talking about that Drew Estate Cigar Safari. You've been through it. For example, we had Nick Melillo on earlier on. And just going through that, he happened to show us the barrels with the Pappy Van Winkle. That they will. Now, they didn't tell us much other than they were working on something and they were playing around with it. And, when the Pappy Van Winkle cigar got announced, wow, hey, it was something. I actually had a video of it. So, you do pick up a lot on those trips. And I think anyone who's out there, I'd encourage you to definitely, if you have an opportunity to go on that trip, it's first class. It's first class. You know it.
Exactly. I mean, it's a great time. It's all top notch from the time that you get on the bus and start smoking. You're smoking cigars from Managua back to Esteli. And, it's just top notch. The food, the staff, the experience. It's a great way to get down and kind of immerse yourself, kind of see what cigars are all about, kind of from seed to smoke. So it's just a really, really great opportunity.
I'll tell a little quick story about that trip on my third trip into Nicaragua. I went to Smoke Inn. They had an event, so I stayed in Miami before getting on the plane to Nicaragua, and Abe from Smoke Inn had a clam bake, right? And I love clam bakes, and I ate, right?
Idea.
I got to the airport that next morning, and
I
all
know
I
it.
got to say is it was bad, okay? And I'm like, I'm not getting on that plane. I'm not. But like I said, I got to get on this plane. So somehow I made it. But that ride to Esteli was, I couldn't smoke, I couldn't drink, I was car sick the whole way. But once I got to Drew Estate, suddenly it was like a magical cure. It was
There you
like,
go. You were pinching your cheeks.
yeah,
the
I
whole
was
way
like,
there,
but
weren't you?
oh boy. I mean, Abe, I love you, Abe, but no more clam bakes for me.
It's true, man. It's true. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like one of those things. It's like once you get, you get in that bus and go, like, it's just a whole nother experience. It's like if you've ever been to, I mean, even if it's not cigar related, you go to Costa Rica, or you go to India, or you go to kind of a foreign country that, it's not like the U.S. It's just a very eye-opening and humbling experience. It's just super, super cool.
They have cigars in India?
They do actually. And believe it or not, I did a little research when I was over there. They actually do grow tobacco over in India. Now, granted, it's mostly for cigarettes and stuff like that. It's not necessarily premium tobacco.
Hookah? Do they grow hookah tobacco in India?
I mean, I wouldn't call it good. I didn't smoke any of the local, but they do have cigars, and they call them Suratils.
I've heard Rocky Patel say it, and I don't know how serious he is, but he's been experimenting with some tobaccos in India, so I don't know what's ever going to come of that, but I've heard he's been on the record of saying that.
I don't know. I mean, it's a very, for climate-wise, there's certain parts of India, especially if you're on the coast, that get good rain. I mean, I could see how it would grow well there. I just don't know. It'd probably be a ginormous pain to try to export it and actually get over there and get to the raw. It's not like going down and to Esteli and going on the farm and checking it out. It's a little bit more in depth than that. But
cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, of course, you can visit cigar-federation.com for Logan Show, Cigar Chat, and all the shows on Cigar Federation, including Stogie Geese, where we broadcast, and have been broadcasting all day in support of Cigar Rights of America. Go to cigarrights.org. Why do I always question myself when I say it? I've been saying it all day, and I still question myself.
We're looking for 100% participation. Either sign up for CRA if you're not a member, renew for a year. Seth has got the contest out there. We had one contest for an AJ Fernandez 5-pack. Again, if you knew the name of AJ Fernandez's father, I'm going to throw a second 5-pack out there right now. If you know the wrapper on the San Latano Bull, which we were talking about earlier today, so there's now 2 prize packs. That's for the live audience only. And we'll have, if you sign up for CRA, you'll get an extra raffle ticket into a box of San Cristobal Clásicos, which I'll announce that contest at the end of the show. Logan, appreciate the friendship. Thank you so much. Look forward to all the great things from Cigar Chat and Cigar Federation.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on and taking the time. And, appreciate all you guys do for the industry and all the good work you guys do. So, yeah.
Likewise, Logan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Logan.
Take care.
All right, fellas.
Bye-bye.
See you guys later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
With that, we're going to take a short break and come back. We're going to have Todd from the Havana Cigar Club come on, and then after that, Dave Burke.
Nope. That Dave Burke now.
Okay.
And I got to let me say, Dave Burke was supposed to be our guest at the end. But Rafael Nodal is going to come on, and Dave Burke, I got to give him a thank you. He gave up his spot for that, which was more than kind. So Dave will be. We'll have Dave on a Stogie Geek show in the near future to Stogie Geek talk with him.
Sorry, Rafael Nodal.
That guy.
We'll be right back.